It is November 13th, 2025. This is Gardner Selby. I'm with George Kuempel. We are doing an oral history interview for the Briscoe Center about your time in the Capitol Press Corps. I ask you very broad questions. I'll show you some news clips, but take it anywhere you want to go.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't. This is your deal, not mine. The first question I like to ask, and I think you have some Daily Texan background here. How did you end up in the Capitol Press Corps?
Actually,
What led you there?
what happened was that after I left the university, I went to the Dallas Times-Herald and spent 2 years at the Times-Herald. And in fact, Ernie Stromberger recommended to Sam Wood that they had a vacancy that time at the Austin Bureau. And Ernie had recommended me. I came down and interviewed for it, and I got that in 1969.
Oh, wow. Now, of course, going back in time, had you grown up in Texas or?
Grew up at Taylor. Yeah.
Taylor? So,
Texas.
what's your date of birth then?
8/27/41.
In Taylor. So you were a Duck.
Taylor Duck. Taylor Duck.
Just like Kirk Bowles.
Yeah.
A little bit later. Now, so did you know all along that you would end up at the University of Texas? And were you doing newspaper stuff as a kid, or?
No, I had the Navy. I was in the Navy.
Okay.
Entered the Navy early and went to California. And after I left the Navy, I went to school in California for a couple of years.
Huh.
And then moved to the University of Texas.
Wow. Where'd you go to school in California?
It's City College, Fresno City.
Uh-huh. How did you end up in the Navy?
Well, in Taylor, there wasn't much to do.
Yeah.
And so had dropped out of school and I was just messing around. And a friend of mine had joined, and convinced me to join with him, so we went together.
Oh, wow. That's wild. Where did you end up in the Navy? Just basically a domestic?
Yeah, different stations. I started out at Coronado, California, and then moved to Lemoore, California, which is a Naval Air Station.
Wow. Huh. All right, and then you did a couple of years of school in Fresno, and then why transfer to UT?
Wanted to get back to Texas.
Yeah. So you started at UT, what year, do you remember?
65, 64, 65.
So 64, 65, and then 65, 66, and somehow you landed at the Daily Texan. How did that happen?
Right when I got to the University of Texas, I tried out for the Texan and ended up with the Texan.
So what got you intrigued? Why were you even thinking about that?
Well, because in the Navy, I did some journalism.
Yeah.
And so it was a natural spot.
Yeah. I bet you don't have any clips from your Navy days.
I don't think so.
That would have been wild.
Yeah, I worked at the base newspaper.
All right. Which base?
This was Coronado Naval Air Station, Coronado Amphibious Base.
So you went down to the Texan, tried out in the fall of 64 probably?
Well, it wasn't a tryout. You just
showed up.
Just showed up, yeah.
Yeah. And then that obviously you got more involved there. Did you realize then that this might be a profession for you?
Well, yeah, this was the same time Whitman is, right when I signed up for the Texans, when the Charlie Whitman thing happened.
That right when you got there, or
almost? Yeah, I think within a year of that, I think.
Wow. And what was your job that day? I think
I was the issue news editor that day.
Oh, okay. Didn't you end up getting the byline on the story?
Yeah, I did.
So, and does
it
that
was
mean,
a lead story? Yeah, I got the byline on.
Does that mean you were wandering the campus, or were you just collecting information from others?
No, I was on the campus.
Yeah.
There was a building right across from the journalism building that I stood behind with a guy, some cop that had a rifle. I was standing there with him, and behind us there were 3 or 4 students that had been shot laying on the ground, and people that were crossing from the journalism building to where I was, a couple of people got shot. So it was a mess.
And one of those people who got shot was that
Robert Hurd.
Did you see Hurd get shot?
No, he was on the other side of the campus.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you remember what building it was? It was near the campus that you were standing at?
I don't remember the building.
It wasn't the home ec building, but
I don't remember.
It's hard to remember. North or south of the tower?
It would be west of the tower.
West of the tower.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's so intense. Oof. So to repeat myself, you saw people shot that day?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. People were shot.
That you saw it.
Oh, I saw them laying on the ground. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And unlike Hurd, you did not get it in your head to let's run out there and try to get closer.
Well, amazing to me, there were students who were gathering on that lawn, pulling them off, and I was amazed. They grab them and pull them to the side.
Yeah. Yeah, the images that I've seen, just wow. That's a hell of an introduction to daily Texan journalism.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my God.
And it went downhill from there too.
Oh my goodness. So you graduate UT, was a degree in journalism?
I didn't graduate.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Okay.
I dropped out. As a junior,
Okay.
basically. I had an offer to go to the Times Herald at that time, and I was married, and we had a kid. And
It was time.
financially, and
Yeah.
my schoolwork had gone to pot
Yeah.
because I was working at the Statesman, working at the Texan, and that's all that was taking all my time.
You were doubling up at the Statesman. What were you doing over there?
Copy desk.
Okay. So you go to Dallas, you work for the Times Herald, cop beat or
Beat reporter,
beat reporter?
GA,
Okay. Whatever comes up, comes
general
up.
assignment. Yeah.
And then you come back here by
1969, January 69.
January 69. And that's where I showed you that clip from May of 69. This is the one about Senate drones toward record filibuster. And you were telling me a moment ago that even though you have the priceless sentence, senators slept at their desks. You don't remember this.
I don't remember that particular story, but
Yeah.
it's sleeping at their desk was certainly no surprise. I mean,
Well, of course, it was all new to you. You were a young man covering the Capitol for the first time.
it was. Let me tell you, it was so chaotic. You had people jumping on the table. We had the table facing the podium then,
Right,
and you had people to sit around the table. And that was the press table,
right.
and we had people jumping on the table and carrying on. It was crazy.
You mean House members?
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen photographs. It
Yeah,
wasn't like
yeah.
that by the time I got there,
Yeah.
with the table running right down the middle of the
Right,
House floor,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
so beautiful for a reporter. My
Yeah,
goodness.
exactly.
Uh,
And it was a black. Was it Mickey? Maybe it was Mickey.
Hmm.
One of the new black members.
Yeah, Mickey Leland would jump up on the table.
Now I don't remember it being Mickey,
Okay.
but one of the new black.
There was
members.
another member, I think Paul Ragsdale from
It
Dallas.
wasn't Paul.
Wasn't Paul.
It was one from Houston.
It was one from Houston.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And what point do you think the member was trying to make?
It had to do during the time of Sharpstown.
Oh, okay.
And the effort to dump Butcher.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it was your assignment from the Statesman at that time, or to cover the Texas House?
I was primarily in the house. Yeah.
Yeah. How exciting was that?
Yeah, it was. It was very exciting.
What was your first impression of what it was like? You already said it was kind of crazy in there, but
It was chaotic. I mean,
Yeah.
it was totally every day. It was something.
did you feel like anytime you needed to, you could lean over to a member and catch up on what was really going on?
Typically you develop relationships with
Yeah.
some members, and yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Find out what was happening. Well, you mentioned Sharpstown already. You have a number of clips, of course, about.
Sharpstown took a lot of time, I'll tell you.
Oh, I bet
Yeah,
it did.
yeah.
I'll bet it did. Everybody who's been, read up on it at all, knows that it started to seep out right before the inauguration, I think in 1971. The 71 legislature was about to come into session, and word started to spread at this right before the governor.
Right, there were some tips. There's some tips that started making the rounds.
And those all originated out of Dallas or out of a.
I'm not sure where they all originated.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it had to do with the speaker. They wanted to dump the speaker, and I think that had to do a lot of it.
And of course, so one story I have of yours talked about, here's the lead. Elmer Baum contacted Banking Commissioner Stewart during an examination of the Sharpstown Bank in November to remind him that Sharp was a close friend. And he quotes Stewart saying that he revealed the conversation and talking to the reporters following his appearance before the Senate General Investigating Committee. And it goes on and on from there.
This is Elmer Baum, state chairman?
Yeah. So there's a long story about that.
It was just part of the whole, the whole sequence.
The steady trickle of stories.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly.
Constant. And then here's another one that you just kind of hinted at. Dirty 30 Maps plan against Gus.
That was alongside with Sharpstown.
Yes. Yeah. And I can't let's see our date on this. Oh yeah, this is just the same year in October of '71.
This was in the midst of Sharpstown.
Yes. Was there an angle on that story that as a fairly new reporter did you become the expert on one thing or another? One aspect of it or another?
Just Sharpstown as a whole, that was sort of my area at that time.
Became your beat?
Well, not a beat, but that's where I focused on Sharpstown.
Yeah.
And of course, then after Sharpstown, you had this great movement for ethics reform. Right. And when all this is going on, you have the anti-war demonstrations.
Right.
You have civil rights stuff working in the background. It was just everything going on.
Yeah. How did you even sort? I mean, day to day, how would you sort out how to keep up with all that?
Well, they started to set the agenda with the legislature. You knew what they were going to do that day, where they were headed. So
yeah,
that's what that directed your attention.
And now I have one clip that is a wonderful story about another filibuster, but I think I picked up on it for two reasons. It's about. It's by you. It says Chronicle Austin Bureau, and it's about Senator McCool of Dallas, the runt of the Senate, setting a filibustering record. Is that
Mike? Yes, Mike McCool.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
What a great story this is, by the way. But
what a great guy he was.
He was.
Always a wonderful guy. Yeah. One of these feisty little guys. Was always making trouble.
Is he the guy? Would he have held the seat before Mozzie?
No.
Okay, I got it mixed up with someone else.
Mozzie was around at the time, so they were
probably he
served,
was.
They were served together.
Or he may have been a House member then. But 72, great story. But it says Chronicle Austin Bureau.
Right.
So you had left the Morning News and gone over to the Houston Chronicle.
Right.
And that happened. Would you remember roughly what time period?
Yeah, about 74.
Yeah.
About 74, I went to the Chronicle.
Or this clip is actually June of 72.
That early?
Yeah.
69, 72, yeah, I guess that's right.
So 72, you were there.
3 years. 3 years I was statesman then. 69, 70, 71.
Okay, 3 years. 3 years of the statesman, and then to the Chronicle, and you were there from at least 72. And this is what gets interesting too. Sometime in 72, you left the press corps.
I worked for Bullock. Yeah.
Now tell you that story. No, I've never heard you tell me the story about how you came to work for the state controller. Was state controller at that time?
State controller, yeah. I'd
Bob
gotten to know Bullock when he was Secretary of State. And he was one of those people who directed me to a lot of the stories we did as far as Sharpstown and, the Dirty 30 stuff. And I got to know him then, and after he got to the controller's office, he asked me to come over.
I'm thinking it through. I guess he would have been elected in 72, maybe, to state controller. And that makes sense. Or maybe 74, I can't remember. Such a long time ago. But he gets elected, and so he asked you to come over.
Yeah, he'd been at the controller's office for several years at that time.
Did you know, or did you already have a feel that he obviously was knowledgeable about politics and
Well, yeah, because he worked for Smith. He was the Secretary of State's office.
That's right.
And yeah, he was running things behind the scene. Bullock was doing things. Yeah.
And kind of a wild man, or more interesting than that.
Really interesting guy. Interesting guy, and a wild man too.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what did he want you to do when coming over to the controller's office?
Work in the press office.
Or like run it or just work in it?
Work in it. There were two of us, Bill Collier and myself.
That's right. That's right. So this is before some of the other characters who were press people over there.
Tony Profit.
Yeah.
Profit worked the press for a while.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of Glenn.
Castleberry. He came much later.
Yeah.
He came later.
Yeah. Glenn is. I might try to catch up with him because he was a Statesman guy. I just don't know if he's.
Yeah, he was in the bureau with me in the Austin bureau.
Oh, okay. So Bullock was rating people from who had the Statesman experience.
Well, probably more personal,
Mhm.
you know, because he had helped me a lot covering the session,
Yeah.
and he knew everything that was going on. So
Yeah. Yeah. And how would he help you? Just grab you in the hallway, or
point me to what was happening.
yeah?
You know, who was doing what. You know what to look for.
Why would he have singled you out as opposed to any other older?
I don't know why. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but he did. It was very helpful covering the legislature.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, he served a term in the House, but that was years before. Anyway, there's the McCool. You're the only clip I pulled out from that time period, at least, until you ended up at the morning news. Now, so you were at the controller's office for how long?
About 2 years.
Just 2 years.
A little over 2 years.
Okay, all right. What was the next step, and then why did that happen?
Well, Collier and I both really concerned about what was happening to Bullock,
Yeah.
and that was excessive drinking,
Yep.
doing so much political work within that office,
Yeah.
and so we both left at the same time. Collier ended up going to appearing for the grand jury. I never did, and subsequently, you know, there was an indictment.
There was an indictment. I didn't know or forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
For using state facilities to do political work. Or,
Yeah.
did you feel pressed to do that yourself while you were there? Were you finding yourself, you need to call so and so or go?
Not so much, but we were aware of everything that was happening.
Yeah.
And the drinking had really gone out of hand. It was really
Because he would be drinking all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got very, very black moods. Very
Yeah.
black moods.
Yeah.
But fortunately, you know, I never had any problem with him at all.
He never fired you one day and then
No.
expected you back at
No.
work the next day. Those kinds of stories.
No, it's one went around a lot, but no, I was never fired and rehired.
Now, my memory, and I'm possibly wrong about this, and I didn't do the research to check, is that Collier ended up writing a story about all that ran somewhere, but it wasn't with you. Do you remember Collier writing something later, or
Oh, I think maybe a piece for Texas Monthly.
maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a pretty famous piece because it was so open about how corrupt he thought things were.
I think it was Texas Monthly.
Yeah, yeah. Did you consider doing that with him, or what?
No, really, because I immediately went to work
Okay,
with the Dallas Morning News.
okay.
So I had to move on. You know.
You had to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to this day don't know why the Dallas News hired me. After coming out for that like I did.
Well, tell more. What surprised you about that? Why?
Well,
mystified?
normally when you've had a situation with an elected official, you know, and ended up working in the same government that he's a part of, it's a bit unusual.
Because at least in those days, the idea was no revolving door, or
Well, you just weren't expected to be hired by a newspaper after you worked for a state agency that you'd be covering.
and the idea being that would be unethical.
Well,
or something.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Conflict of interest, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was wondering about. In my own career, oddly enough, I worked at the controller's office for a few years.
I didn't know that.
And then my chair disappeared under Carol. And I thought, oh, that was terrible. This is April of 2000. And I was upset. But luckily, that cleared the field for me to try to get back in the press corps, and Peggy and the Express News were kind enough to hire me later that year, so it got me back in the flow of things.
Yeah.
Which is, so I was following your path.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't happen a lot.
Doesn't happen a lot.
Happen a lot.
Or at least in those days, it sure didn't happen a lot. Who hired you at the Dallas Morning News Capital Bureau?
They hired me out of Dallas, really.
Okay.
Kinch and Moorhead were in the bureau at the time.
Yep.
And I was hired out of Dallas.
Interesting. Any particular character who said, let's get this guy back in action?
Well, apparently the managing editor there, can't even remember his name.
Right.
But he was the one who hired me, asked me to come back and hired me.
Wow. Did you not even have to approach them? They approached you?
They approached me.
Wait a minute. You're sitting somewhere at home, I guess, and the phone rings, and the Morning News is saying, would you like to be a reporter again?
Yeah.
Huh.
At the time, there was Moorhead was leaving, and there was an opening in the bureau.
Okay.
And for some way, I ended up. They said, "Why don't you come to the bureau and talk to us?" And I went to the bureau and talked to them.
That's great.
Yeah, it was very fortunate, really.
Yeah, very fortunate. And if you'd been, yeah, wow. And then the weird thing is, I blame this on the legislative clip service or maybe my own clumsiness. The next stories I find from you are from the 90s, but I know, of course, you were covering things all the way through the late 70s and 80s.
Yeah, we spent, Howard Swindle and I spent months on the border covering aliens.
Wow.
Spent months doing that. And then I spent months covering the lottery, the problems that were going on with the lottery.
Yeah.
And then I spent months in Waco for Koresh.
Yep.
So that was primarily a lot of stuff I was doing that I was missing the local stuff.
Sure.
Some of this stuff from the heroes.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, that's one of the stories I came across was a Koresh story, pretty in-depth story about finding no child abuse by the cult.
Yeah. I was there that thing burned.
Yeah. Were you on the scene like everybody else staring at the house, or were you somewhere else?
Exactly.
Yeah. I was at a hospital waiting for casualties.
Oh, were you?
There weren't any. Well, let me get back to the basic questions. I got drifty here. I'll go back and flip my notes. So when you look back on your time in the press corps, because you spent the rest of your career at the Morning News Bureau, when you look back on that time, and you may have hinted at this already, what were the highlight and the low light moments for you as far as being a reporter at the Capitol?
The highlights were the 69 through 74, which was Sharpstown. It was a complete change in leadership, basically. Connolly had stepped down after serving 3 terms. You have Preston Smith coming in and Ben Barnes, so you have a whole new regime that has to settle in. Then you have Sharpstown breakout. Then you have this big move, this ethics move, which took an insurmountable amount of time.
Yeah.
But those were the highlights.
Did you believe that the ethics move was changing Texas forever? The things were going to be clean and nice, and
there were dramatic changes.
Yeah, they
really
were.
Dramatic changes.
Right.
We expected them to
some
say.
of them involving open meetings and open records.
Open records,
and,
campaign finance reporting. Open records particularly.
Yep. Did you spend a lot of time around Buck Wood?
Lots.
Yeah.
With Common Cause. Buck was the main source of all the stuff during the ethics.
And he'd been a Bullock guy.
Later.
Yeah, that was later?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, were you, in a later generation, Sam was known for getting a lot of his work started or ended at the Chili Parlor. Sam Adelstein.
Sam Adelstein, yeah.
Were you in that? Would you go to Schultz Garden all the time, or hang out with a crowd, or?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
We'd go out there for lunch
Right.
occasionally, but not a lot of hanging out. No.
Yeah, you had kids and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there was a lot going on. Yeah.
So much stuff. Now, what about low light? You look back and go, oh, this is, this wasn't good.
The drudgery of routine legislative stuff.
Yeah.
Legislative committees drove me crazy. You sit through this stuff; it's just agonizing. And that was the low point.
And you were naturally going to be the person who might get assigned to the liquor control agency.
Well, I ended up covering the lottery. That was my
Yes.
beat. That was my beat of the news.
True or false that at one time the controller's office issued a press release responding to a story you'd worked on, and it was directed to the bingo editor of the Dallas Morning News, George Kuempel, and the assistant bingo editor, Terry Stutz.
Exactly.
What was that about?
I just poking fun at us. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
And because you had done some kind of a story
Yeah.
exposing.
It was because of bingo.
Yeah.
He was running bingo at the time, and I'd done some stuff about bingo that he didn't like.
Did you keep that press release? I wish I had a copy of that.
He also wanted to put a press release that said we have no news today when I was at the Capitol working for him.
He wanted you to issue a press
Well,
release.
we issued a press release.
Oh, you did issue it?
Yes, have no news today.
Is that framed somewhere?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's great. You've mentioned, of course, the importance of Bullock in your career, but did you have, over the years, your favorite officials or elected officials, whoever you thought they were the best, most interesting to cover? Or?
One of them in the House was a guy named Larry Bales, which I really liked.
Yeah.
And in the Senate was John Montford. These are guys that were serious lawmakers and very, very ethical.
Yeah.
Of course, Bosey is wonderful.
Yeah.
And McCool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did any particular Republicans stand out?
Not really. Not really.
Did you cover? I mean, clearly you were there when Clements was governor. And he had 2 terms. Any insight on him or people?
That was sort of a nothing period. Nothing ever happened of any interest.
The famous story that I remember from that age, and I wasn't there, but when he was asked about the SMU scandal and said there wasn't a Bible in the room.
Well, really, the big one was when he said he was hoping for a hurricane to end the drought.
That's right, or to clean up the oil spill.
No,
was it in the drought?
In the drought. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought it was a hurricane. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was his big moment in
I
Texas
forgot about
politics.
that. Yeah.
He was just sort of like the grumpy old man.
Yeah. What impression did you have of his successor, Mark White?
Really bland area. It just seemed like nothing was going on at that time.
Now, of course, your colleague Stutz was in the middle of covering House Bill 72 and all that
right,
stuff.
Right, that was the big thing. Yeah, it was completely out of my area.
Yeah, I was going to say, none of your clips have anything related to school finance.
No.
I'm quite impressed.
Did
you ever write a story on school finance? I'm guessing not.
Not that I recall.
That is great. That was unfortunately one of my beats.
Let me tell you, Stutz was the expert.
He sure was.
Yeah,
he sure was.
They didn't need me.
Yeah, that's great. Which colleagues you worked with so many different kinds of reporters and different individuals in different eras, but which colleagues from that time period in the Capitol Press Corps stick in your mind and how come? You think about.
I liked my bureau chief at the Chronicle was Bo Byers. Was a wonderful reporter.
Yeah.
A great guy to work for, and just an all around good guy. Really, and I learned a lot from him, and he really helped me.
What was it he conveyed to you? What was his special that you hadn't realized or whatever?
To calm down, to put more thought into what I was doing. And sometimes I would have a tendency to go overboard, and he would rein me in.
Yeah.
In a way that didn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, that's great. He must have been a little upset when you left.
I think he just accepted it. You know,
Yeah.
he was getting close to his own retirement. He had other things on his mind. He had a wife that was very ill at the time,
Oh, I
mentally
see.
ill, and
Oh, dear.
So it was taking a lot of his time, I think. But
Speaking
it was a pleasure to work for him, and I learned a lot from him.
Yeah. Anybody else characters over the years?
Well, you know, I like Sam a lot. Sam Kinch. Was probably and Ernie. I worked a lot with Ernie and Ann Watson, was it?
Or Ann Arnold?
Ann Arnold, yeah.
Yeah.
Ann Arnold and I did some stuff together.
Oh, really? She. What was it about Ann that stood out?
She's just one of those people that just a bulldog, really a bulldog. She worked really hard.
Sam Kinch, of course, ended up doing Texas Weekly, but before that, he was a longtime political writer.
Yeah, he covered the political stuff from the Bureau, basically.
Yeah,
He did
yeah.
the political stuff. I did the investigative stuff.
Yeah.
Of course,
What was the investigative story you did that you thought didn't get enough attention? You know, many stories got attention, but was there one where you still think back on and wonder why? How come that story didn't?
I remember I covered a flood, and I can't remember what river it was, but it was a bus that tried to cross, and it was filled with kids. Where was it?
That was in the Valley.
No, it was South Texas.
That's what I'm trying to say. South Texas, near McAllen. And
Was it the Guadalupe or? But anyway, so they and they lost so many of the kids that I ended up interviewing a couple of the survivors, and it was such a tragic situation that it just didn't get any attention at all. I mean, he got the next day's attention, but it just sort of petered out from there.
Yeah. I went down. I was a freelancer and went down to cover that for the Washington Post and didn't get any good journalism out of it. But I remember that incident.
Well, I was very fortunate because I got there early enough and I had a chance to interview these kids, these survivors.
How'd you get there so fast?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just went down. We got word of it. I just
Jumped
we
in the
were
car.
always just getting our cars and driving where we needed to go.
Yeah.
But anyway, fortunately, I got to interview these people. At the same time, they cut off all the future interviews.
Yeah.
So I got the good interviews.
That's great. Yeah. By the time I got there, it was.
Yeah, they wouldn't let anybody talk to
Yeah,
any of
yeah.
the survivors.
Yeah. It's funny. I can't remember the name either. It was, if I remember right, it was a Coca-Cola truck had run a stop sign and hit the school bus.
No, it was a flood.
It was a flood.
Oh yeah.
But no. Well, the reason I say it was a flood. Let me finish it and see if this rings a bell. Truck runs the stop sign, hits the bus. The bus falls into this gigantic gully filled with water.
No, the bus tried to cross the bridge.
Okay, so it's a wholly different story than I'm thinking of.
Yeah, this one tried to cross the bridge. It was swept off.
Oh my gosh. And despite the fact, that story itself didn't get a lot of attention.
No, it did not. I mean, to get the next day attention, but sort of petered out.
It's just one story.
There was no follow up on preventative measures or anything like that.
How did the press corps change? You saw waves of change, I guess, in the press corps. But as you look at it, how did the press corps change on your watch?
Ethically, big time. And it all came down after the ethics for. But in the early '70s, we'd get liquor, got movie tickets, stuff like that regularly.
Football tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. UT football ticket.
Right.
But then after Sharpstown and that, it just cut off completely.
Why do you think that changed?
First of all, the people who gave it didn't want to take a chance on it caught, and no reporter wanted to take it anymore.
Yeah.
I think we all had a good lesson in ethics.
And as you watch the press corps itself, of course, it grew and shrunk.
Let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
Another thing that was so hard, so bad about that period of time, if a politician wanted to have press coverage, he had to provide everything. He had to provide the plane, and it just seemed like to get the coverage, you have to have the plane and the money to get the coverage.
What was
so a person that didn't have that access, didn't have a prayer to run for public office.
Well, what was a trip like that you remember? You had the candidate would provide it, or the?
Oh yeah, they provided the airplane, the transportation, and in some cases the money for the liquor that you drank that night.
Yeah.
And your dinner.
Yeah. And which politician jumps out at you as someone you did that with? You jumped on a plane.
With the Preston Smith plane.
Mm-hmm.
And another situation was my wife and I and a number of reporters' wives went to the Super Bowl on Preston Smith's plane. And that was arranged by Bullock.
So you're going to the Super Bowl in Florida?
No, it wasn't Florida, I think. It was Dallas Cowboys.
So you had seats in the stands and everything?
Oh, yeah.
A junket?
Food, absolutely was a junket, yeah.
And it wasn't treated as anything to be reported on or to write about. It was just a fun trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Did that turn your head at the time or not at all?
Well, at the time, I thought about it, but so let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Everybody else was doing it.
Yeah. It's a junket. Yeah. How about that? I'd like to see that. There must be pictures. Where are the pictures? How did the Cowboys play that year? Do you remember?
They won the game. I remember that.
Yeah, Cowboys won. Well, it should be hard to figure that one out. That is wild.
It seemed like it was. I can't remember.
And no mementos, huh? Nothing from the trip today. You didn't come back with a trophy.
Oh
or
no, nothing like
pennant.
That. No.
Isn't that something? The composition of the press corps changed. It was mainly white men when you started in the press corps, and that changed a lot over time. The mix of types of people, right?
Not so much while I was there.
Not so much. Yeah.
Not in the early days.
Yeah.
Later, yeah. The news we started hiring some black reporters.
Right.
I'm trying to think of in the bureaus who had a black reporter.
Well, there was, of course, the fellow who would Star Telegram, Ken Bunting.
Of course, yes, he was there.
But they're not a lot. You're right.
No.
Herbert Sample came to the Times Herald.
Wasn't with him.
And he was barely there. Yeah, Times Herald folded. Any other changes you notice about the press corps over the years, or
that was it primarily? Is refocus on our conduct.
Yeah. Well, that's a big change. Did you end up being someone who would not go to the Capitol Press Corps Christmas thing with the governor?
I didn't go because I thought they were boring.
Fair. They were kind of boring.
I had no desire to go to this thing.
One year, Ken Herman and I, dealing with the ethics questions raised by Mike Ward and maybe others, decided that we would go, but we would bring pizza. So we brought a few pizzas to the governor's mansion that year. On behalf of the Houston Post. Are there certain stories or certain stories that you're proudest of? Do you look back on your career and say, this story, wow, I really nailed it?
Well, I think all of the stuff, all of the Sharpstown stuff and the ethics stuff.
Yeah.
I had a lot of good stories out of that.
That's great. And it was all new to you too. Of course, you were just new to the whole concept of covering the Capitol.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you were known for being such a great reporter covering the lobby. Here's a story from a basic story from '93, where you're quoting Smitty talking about how much money, obscene amount of money being spent on lobbyists. I wanted to ask you about this story. This is a great one. It's like 10 paragraphs. but I'm guessing you're the one who broke this story. Lawmaker reports apparent bribe offer. Sophronia Thompson had reported to local authorities that somebody wanted to pay her money to get a bill through.
I remember that.
How the heck did you learn about this?
Through a tip, and then I went and talked to her, and she was happy to talk about it.
And this is going to be, we're many years later. Who was the tipster?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Did you know at the time? Or was it anonymous?
No, it was
Somebody
someone I knew. Damn, it may have been Bullock.
Okay.
It may have been Bullock.
Yeah, that would make sense. Let's see.
He said something like, "You need to go talk to Sophronia."
In '93, that would be something, because he would have been still lieutenant governor then. And then, like me, you covered the Kay Bailey Hutchinson story involving her grand jury and all that.
Spent a lot of time on that thing.
You sure did.
For nothing.
Yeah, I know.
And the lottery thing that involved Ben Barnes.
Yes.
Became quite a big story.
Yeah.
It took a lot of time.
Yeah. Who was driving? Help. How did you? Because you were again leading people on that story. Was there a
lot
particular
of it came from tips from federal sources.
Mm-hmm.
Tips from lobbyists.
Yeah.
Who were on the other side.
Okay.
Those were the primary sources.
Yeah. And it's a pretty competitive story. I mean, that was a story where Ken Herman was trying to cover it.
Yeah, very, very competitive.
And Ross Ramsey.
Mm-hmm. It was a moving story, and it took a long time to get Barnes involved in it. It just took time.
Yeah. And then for some reason, I pulled out this racing commission story. You might have been.
That was another.
Racing employee's death called work a professional. Holy moly.
Yeah, that was another one that took a lot of time.
Holy moly.
They went nowhere.
Oh, so much detail. And he involved Mike Hull, who is quite a character.
Is Mike, you know Mike?
I do.
Is he still around?
I don't know, but I think he is, but he's had a very interesting thing where in the last 10 years, let's say, at least on the Facebook, he often posts about trying to pause once a day and stand on one foot and gaze into the ether, which is, it's
he was nutty on Native Americans.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. You mentioned Bales earlier. I've happened to print out your obituary of Bales.
Larry Bales?
Yeah. Died at 53, kind of young. And, it surprised me when I read your story. I didn't know this, that he only served one term in the House.
Very, very brief.
Yeah.
But he was pushing heavily all the ethics stuff and the dirty 30 stuff.
Yeah. And, of course, at the same time, he owned Schultz Garden, I guess, or?
He later got involved in Schultz, yeah.
Yeah, later on. His son's a lobbyist, I think.
Yeah, he's a nice kid. He's a nice kid.
Yeah. One more story by you and a colleague of the Morning News about the charges getting dropped against Kay Bailey.
Total shock.
Yeah. Yeah, you and I were both there. That was... The Houston Post made me go back and interview Earl twice. So we had two front page stories 2 days in a row about Earl saying, or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Marbles in his mouth. You were so smart to did you talk to Judge Onion on that story that night, or was that Selwyn Crawford?
I did not.
Yeah, so it would have been the other guy. Yeah, Ross beat me on that one. Fundraiser for Richards accused of using state office for promotions. This is about how did this story pop up? About someone in the federal office doing political stuff in Richards' office.
I don't have any idea.
Yeah, there's a person quoted in here who may have reached out to you, or she'd been a receptionist named Pollack, Pollack.
Can I see it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got telephone records cited in here. Just a long time ago.
A very long time ago.
Yeah, but great work. Another clip here about, I just think because of the Bullock connection, you'd be intrigued by that. You wrote about whether he was going to run again in 1998. And then you covered Commissioner Perry running for comptroller or lieutenant governor.
Yeah, there was all this speculation at the time about Bullock running against Briscoe. And he called us in the office one day. He said, I went to see Briscoe, and police put out a press release that I told him I'm going to support him and I'm not running against him.
Oh, so, and that would have been in early 70s. Yeah. The now you and Pete did a story about Barnes getting asked to help get George W. Bush into the
We spent
state
months
guard.
on the Bush and the National Guard thing.
That's amazing.
Literally months.
Yeah. What was the breakthrough on that story? What made it so you knew you had?
The fact that he got in the Guard in the pilot program, which was very hard to get into, and at the time, basically, no one got into the Guard unless he had some connections.
Right.
And so it was obvious from the start that he didn't get on his own.
Was Barnes helpful all along on this, or was he just not available to you?
Oh, he was not available. He wouldn't confirm anything.
Yeah.
So we had to do different ways to get it confirmed that he had.
And I know you're quoted somebody here. I can't remember who it was now, but somebody whose name jumped out at me. Oh, it was kind of a go-between. Sidney A. Adger.
Yeah.
But you never talked to him.
We got it confirmed. We got it confirmed. Slover and I got it confirmed in our own mind that's what happened, and then Barnes confirmed it.
That's just wild. Are there stories that you feel like over those years that the whole press corps missed, that you missed and the whole press corps missed? You get bogged down in committee meetings or the routines, but others you look back, big picture, small picture, doesn't matter. But stories that just got completely overlooked.
I just think basically it wasn't overlooked, but the sudden rise of Republicans, complete transformation of the government.
Yeah.
It wasn't overlooked, but it came as such, almost like it was a shock.
Yeah.
And it changed completely at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, a matter of one election cycle.
But overlooked too was the financial of how campaigns are financed.
Mm-hmm. And what do you mean by that?
Well, where the big money comes from, how much of it is the big money, what do they get in return?
Yep. Does that still seem like a story that just doesn't quite get?
It's always a story.
And does it get enough coverage, you think, or not at all?
Well, it gets coverage, but I don't think it makes an impact on people anymore. I think they expect it.
Yeah. And the question I think I've been asking a lot of folks too, who had the experience of watching all this, is do you feel like state government and politics are more or less corrupt than what you observed over the years?
Absolutely more corrupt.
More corrupt.
More corrupt, yeah.
And how come?
But it's just blatant, the way that contracts are awarded,
Mm-hmm.
the way the contributions are handled, the money they take in, the favors they do for their friends.
Mm-hmm. Is it because it's not against the law, or because
because they're in charge, they don't care.
Yeah.
They've got the courts, so they don't have to worry about the courts.
Yeah. At the state level, forgetting for a minute the White House and all that stuff in Washington, feel the same way? That
absolutely, the state level, absolutely. Control all the courts. And I think there's some district courts.
Yeah, that's right.
All the appeals courts.
And do you feel too that it's more corrupt in Texas at the state level than it was as you were watching it over the years?
At the state level.
Huh. What's the best example of what you've observed in the last few years? Anything that demonstrates that corruption?
The way the contracts, I think we had some stuff recently about the governor giving contracts
Mhm.
to friends,
Mhm.
that type thing.
Yeah,
I can't think of any specific instances.
yeah, yeah,
But it's basically a way of doing business.
yeah. And perhaps this is related to that, but you hinted at this earlier. Do you think people pay more or less attention now to what's happening at the Texas Capitol?
I think they accept it because
Mm-hmm.
it's so prevalent. Secondly, I think they realize there's nothing they can do about it as individuals.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Now, you had a major setback physically at one point where you fell out of a tree.
Yeah.
That was not here at this house.
No, that was
You were in Dripping Springs.
the Lakeway.
Oh,
We lived at Lakeway together.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And fell out of a tree. What the heck happened? What
was-
did you try to do? And
I was sawing limbs
Yeah.
with the chainsaw,
oh boy.
and it just gave way,
Oh my
and
God.
I came tumbling down.
Oh. That really knocked you out, didn't it? I mean, you got physically.
Still
You-
got big rods in my back.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. How many years ago did that happen?
about 20 years ago.
About 20 years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, yeah. When you retired from the morning news, was there a particular reason that you had a story you sick of, or some? It could be any reason. I don't know.
No, I just got burned out, and I had a chance to, go on. I could retire.
Yeah,
I was able to retire,
yeah,
and I just was really bored with the routine of government.
yeah, yeah.
I love the investigative stuff. But
Yeah, you look good.
when
Great.
that petered out, we got to the routine. I just lost interest.
Deadly dull. What were the last things you were covering? I don't even remember.
Just basically committee meetings
Yeah,
about stuff that never went anywhere.
yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Now you have a great little story here from 2003. And was that the year you retired? 2003.
Right.
Okay. Consultant's plan called Power Grab, where it looks to me like the Miller fella, Bill Miller,
Bill Miller.
accidentally faxed y'all a copy of this plan, and that's how. Remember this? Take a look at that story.
Yeah, it's Fort Craddock. Yeah.
How the heck did that just inadvertently get it texted to you guys or emailed to you?
That came from the lobbyist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so a lobbyist had it, and
Yeah.
it wasn't Miller handing it to you by accident.
No.
That's what I thought might have
No,
happened.
no.
Okay. All right.
It was a
Yeah.
tip from the lobbyist.
Anything else that you wanted to share or talk about, or that when you think back on reporting on all those years of the Capitol Press?
Well, it
Corps?
was just it was a really exciting time early on.
Yeah.
And it's changed so much now. As you know, the House floor was covered with TV cameras. There were reporters everywhere. And all of that's changed now. And the reporters seem to have a lot of less access to members
Yeah.
than we did in those days.
Yeah, that was a question I should have asked you. Do you think the coverage of the Capitol is better or worse
Oh,
today?
absolutely. It's because the resources aren't there.
Yeah.
They're not putting the resources on it. And the resistance to isolating the members from the press.
Yeah, it's intense. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, as you know, the press corps was squeezed in a space, two-story space, and one-story vertical space between the House floor and the governor's office. So you all were in there too, right? You had a space between the House and the governor's office, that space where all the press were, where they had their offices.
You mean,
On the second floor of the Capitol?
oh, yeah.
You were squeezed in there too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just briefly describe what that was like.
You talking about the press rooms it was basically it was a decent room. It wasn't any problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, did it generate stories because you were all packed together? And
No,
Yeah.
not really.
As far as making it easier for legislators and others to come grab your elbow.
Oh, it was easy. Yeah, that was no problem at all.
Yeah.
They could come in any time. You
Right.
know? Oh, yeah.
Right. One reporter told me he couldn't tell me how many times he ended up standing next to Lee Jones at a urinal because he was chasing him down the hall. He thought Lee had a hot story. He needed to follow him and find out where he was going. Turned out he was going to the bathroom. Did you have someone like that you had to keep an eye on?
No, Robert Hurd. Remember Robert Hurd? Robert Hurd was always pissed off that Garth Jones, who was bureau chief, was giving him shit stories. And so I've got a picture of this. I walked in one day and Hurd's at his desk. He has a toilet seat over his head. Fucking toilet seat. He was telling Garth Jones, "You give me all this shit stuff, so I might as well sit through it." I've got a picture of that somewhere.
I want to see that. You have that handy?
Probably not handy.
You find it.
I'll
let me know.
save it for you.
Save it for me. Ernie was able to dig up some stuff after I visited with him that he ended up sending to me, and same thing with you. If you find stuff you think might be useful,
okay.
the Briscoe Center can take a copy or whatever you want.
Yeah.
They all collect that stuff. Who's the obvious next reporter that I should be talking to? There's so many.
Have you talked to Slover?
No, I just talked to him on the phone on the way over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Was Slover in that when the press corps was all squeezed together, or was he only over at 1005 Congress?
He was over at 1005.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to get my focus on when they were all squeezed together, because that's so vivid.
Slover and I worked together for years.
You guys.
He's great. Yeah.
He's amazing. Yeah.
He is very good.
Great reporter. Great person. What the heck happened to Wayne Slater? Car accident, or you think there was something suspicious?
No, car accident.
Just a car accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the other thing that I wondered about suspicious was we was having serious heart problems.
Yeah.
And he was due a major operation.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was wondering if maybe he hadn't gotten dizzy or lost consciousness.
Someone said to me the other day that his wife didn't want to do an autopsy.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, thanks so much.
Well, I'm
That was
glad.
fun.
I hope I helped a little.
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry my memory's not better.
Well, you might think of something else. Just call me up or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'll turn this off now.